Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And good morning. Welcome in. We are live, a brand new live edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond, 256-576-4977. That's how you can be a part of the program this morning. Plenty of fun stuff, plenty of good stuff, a lot of good stuff to get through on a Wednesday morning. We've made it to the halfway point of the week. We are now just a little over 24 hours away from the NFL draft. We are less than 24 hours away from starting this year's Hometown Lenders Championship at the Ledges, which is where we will be at tomorrow. So dress warm because it'll be a little chilly up on the mountain at 7 o'clock in the morning. However, the story coming out and the story that has taken over, I guess you could say, for Alabama fans in the last 24 hours, the transfer portal and the transfer portal of one specific quarterback, and Tyler Buchner from Notre Dame, who when you go into the transfer portal, you have two options. One, you can put contact. Two, you can put no contact tag on your transfer portal stuff. Tyler Buchner has a no contact tag, and that really sent people into a frenzy because his former offensive coordinator is now at Alabama. Is Alabama a potential landing spot, Drew DeArmond, for Tyler Buchner?
Well, it does sound like he's going to be in Tuscaloosa, if not, if he hasn't already arrived. Certainly there's a relationship there with Tommy Rees. And, just doing some digging last night, I think it has to do with, as I've said before, if they brought in a quarterback from the portal and until Tyler Buchner went in yesterday, I think after our show, there was nobody with ties to Rees or nobody that you thought would be interested in Alabama, but Tyler Buchner did not play well in Notre Dame's spring game, and don't forget they brought in Sam Hartman from Wake Forest, so not sure that Tyler Buchner was going to start, and so he's going to, as he put it, he released a statement himself, like he is going to explore his options.
That does include, he said, possibly heading back to Notre Dame.
Correct. He and Marcus Freeman talked, and I think they've given him an opportunity to look around. And Alabama could be in the mix for a quarterback. And I think if they do, that means one of the two, either Ty Simpson or Jalen Milroe, would depart. I would bet on Milroe at this point in time. I think Ty Simpson. To me, I've rewatched the 8A game, the TV performance, and I still thought Ty played exceptionally well, especially considering that he has a thumb and also that kind of affected his elbow as well, so he's injured. But I still think, because there wasn't enough separation in the quarterback battle at Alabama to have a definitive starter. And One of the two guys may have wanted a definitive answer on who was going to be the dude. And if they didn't have said answer, instead of staying and competing in this climate of NIL and and being able to transfer and not sit out, they'd rather go somewhere else where they thought they had a better shot at starting. And so I'll just be honest, I've never been sold on Milroe as a passer. I think he's one hell of an athlete. Okay. I think he could move to another position and excel, whether it be slot receiver or like an H-back tight end kind of situation. I think he could be a matchup nightmare because he's so explosive, but he's just never thrown the ball consistently, and that's been 3 years. And so I think Ty Simpson is the more polished of the QBs, and I think he's got a chance to be the starter. And I think, but if one of them is seriously considering leaving, Alabama doesn't want to just have three quarterbacks on scholarship, with two of them in Dylan Lonergan and Eli Holstein having never played in a game at all. And if you look at Ty Simpson, he's only had like 30 snaps in a real game. That's a lot of inexperience. So your most experienced dude is Milroe, And, and if he's the guy that is thinking about leaving, then I think,
That's why you would possibly look at Buckner?
Yeah, that's why you would look at Tyler Buckner, because he's played. He was Notre Dame's starter until he got hurt his shoulder or whatnot. Yeah. And, before they brought in Sam Hartman, he played the last 2 years. He played extensively last year until he got hurt. The year before it was as a backup, but still he does have some experience. He does have a relationship with Tommy Rees, so that would be a guy that you could add to the mix and keep you at 4 scholarship QBs, whether Milroe or Ty Simpson leaves. I'll just say this: if Ty Simpson left, I think for Alabama it would hurt. It would hurt badly. I think he is a guy that has potential to be an all SEC level quarterback at some point, and I think it would be as big a mistake as when they allowed Drew Sanders to go to Arkansas.
Let's just say Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, and Buckner are in the room together. All 3 of them are there. No one of them leaves. Is Buckner better than the other 2?
That's a great question. I don't consider him like a big upgrade over Ty Simpson, for example. I would take Ty Simpson over him,
right?
Because Ty's been there. He just went through the fire in the spring. And the other thing, I know people would say, well, he played in Rees' system at Notre Dame. Well, Rees' system at Notre Dame is different than what Rees is learning Alabama's offense. And so basically
he's just familiar with the guy.
Yeah, he's familiar with Buckner. He has a relationship. Buckner would be starting at square one trying to learn this offense. But again, look, they wouldn't. These other QBs wouldn't have that big a leap on him because, look, Eli Holstein and Lonergan have gone through one spring. And then you've had Ty Simpson there a calendar year, but he's had 30 snaps in a game. So it would still most definitely be a competition. So it would give Buckner a chance to compete at a different place in a really good program that could surround him with talent. So I can understand the business move if he didn't think he was going to be the QB at Notre Dame. And you would think that Notre Dame brought in Sam Hartman, the Wake Forest transfer, to win that job. I mean, and Tommy Rees did that himself. So it's quarterback carousel, man. It's a transient position, but I'll say it again. There's not been a quarterback yet come out of the transfer portal that didn't go through spring practice and be the starter. We'll see if it can finally happen, but I still think Ty Simpson's the future for Alabama at this point.
Sam Hartman in the Notre Dame spring game, by the way, 13 of 16, 189 yards and 3 touchdowns, outperforming Buckner in Notre Dame's spring game.
But, I mean, let's not forget, Sam Hartman had a really good year at Wake Forest last year. He was an all-ACC quarterback, and he was a guy that a lot of people were interested in, and there was even speculation due to Tommy Rees leaving. It ended up not being the right quarterback, but some people thought, would Hartman go back into the portal and follow Rees to Alabama? But that did not happen.
The question is for Buckner, he's going to take a visit to Alabama, but does he visit Auburn? Is it a look for Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers, who have said they would look for a quarterback in the transfer portal?
Yeah, they would, and I don't think they had any interest in that I know of in Buckner.
Right.
And again, I think the main reason Alabama does is the Tommy Rees angle, but I still think if Auburn finds their QB, it might be the graduate transfer route, which as you know, the transfer portal is closing at the end of this week. So
Saturday, I believe, right?
But it doesn't close for it does not close for graduate transfers. As long as they transfer, they can still move from one school to the other. But it would for someone that is still trying to finish their degree.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. Pat from Tuscaloosa with us. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning, guys. Hey, I'm hearing down here. First off, I thought that perhaps Buckner coming to Tuscaloosa for a visit was strictly as a favor to Tommy, but I'm hearing different now, and and Drew, you're touching on it a little bit too, man. This is I'm real high on QB4, but I really liked what I saw out of Ty Simpson too. I didn't realize he had that kind of escapability. Mm-hmm. He's very fleet of foot, and thus why he was probably ranked as the top dual threat in the country when he came in.
Yeah, and again, Pat, if they take Tyler Buckner, I would say it in the 90+ percentile that one of the quarterbacks is leaving. And if you had to ask me who I think it would be Milroe, because I agree. Because he's been there 3 years too. Think about it. If he doesn't think after 3 years that he is going to be the slam dunk starting quarterback, then he is going to try. He doesn't want to, burn another year. He is going to go somewhere else, just by common sense.
Well, that's the trend in college football. That's what happens in college football.
Yeah, so that would be my theory on it, that he would be the guy that would transfer. Now, it could be Ty Simpson. I think that would be bad for Alabama, but I would think Alabama, in a close race like this, and it's close, there is no definitive starter right now, I think you would go with the younger guy. And so Alabama, I think, would do that. And again, I think I would love to keep Milroe on the team just for his freakish athletic ability and find a way to utilize him. But he wants to be a quarterback. I can't blame him. He's probably been a quarterback his whole life. I just don't think he's a consistent enough passer. But if he finds the right collegiate situation where they use the QB as a runner a lot, he could end up being an effective player. So I just don't – I know Alabama's going to run the football this year, but if Alabama – and we all know what the goal for Alabama is. The goal is the first check off is to win the West. The second check off is to win the SEC championship. And the third is to get to the playoff and win a national title. And to me, you've got to be able to throw the football effectively enough to be balanced to do that. And I don't know that Jalen Milroe gives you that chance.
Yeah, it worries me that Milroe does not value the football.
Right.
And I can say that in the kindest words, but and not in the kindest words, because of the interceptions, the fumbling the ball, blah, blah, blah. When you're trying to make extra yards, I understand trying to make extra yards, but dadgum, hold on to the football. Mm-hmm. And I think he would be better as a slot receiver, and that's not meaning anything against him. But if we could give him the ball in open field, he'd be a bad man. I mean, speed kills no matter what,
No question.
Yep. I appreciate y'all taking my call this morning. Just wanted to vent a little bit today.
Thank you, Pat.
Thanks, Pat.
Appreciate you. Thank you for listening.
Have a great one.
So, all right, we got to get a break in. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Phone lines are open to you, 256-576-4977. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Since 1998, Scooter's Coffee has delivered high-quality drinks with quick service and a big smile. And the folks at Scooter's Coffee know a great cup of coffee or other drink can bring a smile to just about anyone. Yes, we specialize in great coffee, but Scooters also has smoothies, teas, and delicious food items too. And this week, Scooters is our zone deal. Right now, get $50 worth of Scooters in Huntsville for just $25 online at 977ESPN.com.
Who knows comfort? Well, comfort is our middle name. If your home isn't as comfortable as you want it to be, we can fix that. We service all makes and brands of heating and cooling systems, even if we didn't install them. So give us a call at Environmental Comfort Systems or visit our website at envcomfort.com. We are your independently owned American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Alabama license number 92314. Environmental Comfort Systems. That's envcomfort.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Just got a report of a vehicle on its side. Old Big Cove and Peach Pond. That one is reported with possible injuries. Old Gurley and Shields had a vehicle hit a utility pole. That one turned out to be a no injury, but it may take a while to clear. Snelling places admin, accounting, and medical professionals daily. Need a job or maybe an employee? Snelling can help. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
I'm Olympic gold medalist Rowdy Gaines, and I'm recommending you register for the 40th Annual Alabama State Games, happening June 9th through June 11th in Birmingham. Athletes of all ages and abilities will participate in any of the 25 team or individual sports. Registered athletes have the opportunity to win up to $4,000 in academic scholarships to add to the over $335,000 already awarded. Registered at alagames.com. That's ALAGAMES.com.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you, hanging out here on a Wednesday morning. And a lot of reaction to Tommy Buckner entering the transfer portal from Notre Dame. Where will he end up? We don't know. But he is going to take a visit to Alabama, that we do know. And we talked a little bit about what it would mean for Alabama if Buckner does indeed end up in a Crimson Tide uniform, or what it would mean for the future. 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. You can be a part of the program, be a part of the show this morning. Another topic that has come about, and we told you yesterday that the college football playoff spring meetings, now the SEC spring meetings will be going on in May. The college football playoff meetings are ongoing, and Greg Sankey is there, the SEC commissioner. And we've all talked about big wins in the SEC and fans storming the field. We saw it several times. Tennessee against Alabama this year. We've seen it in other places. And Greg Sankey says the office, the SEC office, is considering, they haven't come up with a definitive plan yet, but they are considering, Drew, these options: doubling or tripling or quadrupling fines for teams that rush the field.
Yeah.
Forfeiting the next home game against that team.
Mm-hmm.
Banning a team from a bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
Forfeiting the game in which the field was stormed.
Yeah.
Having higher standards for visiting team officials and protection, and having higher standards for a team's exit.
Yeah, there's no question. I agree with all of that. Fans do not belong on the field. You know what I'm saying? They just do not. They do not belong on the field. That is the place for the players. That is the place for the coaches, the officials, everything else. There's stands for the fans. There's a field for the players and the officials and the coaches.
Right.
You do not belong on the court. You do not belong on the playing field and run around like a bunch of jackasses and put people in danger. Because half the time these are folks that are acting a fool, whether they're sober or not. They're celebrating, yes, but half the time they're also. You have the situation that happened with Jermaine Burton where someone gets in his face and you have an incident. There's been other incidences where fans run out on the field and they get trampled or they get body slammed by security. And it's harder to do when everybody exits the field, but it does damage to the playing surface, which we all know is not cheap. I know these D1 Power 5s can fork over the money, but I mean it does a lot of damage to said playing surface. Whether you have, like Georgia, you have hedges around your field and they trample those. The fans have no business being on the field. I've always said that. And I mean, I know it looks great when it happens, and it's so there's such emotion and passion and stuff. You can do that in the stands. They do not belong down there with the players.
Yeah, Greg Sankey saying yesterday to Sports Illustrated that the conference could vote on new penalties at any point between now and the start of the new college football season.
And I can tell you this. if they force you to forfeit a game that you just won, or you're forfeiting a game in the future, or I mean the money they can fork over. But when you're talking about forfeitures and it costing you a game or a bowl bid or whatever, it's staying in the stands. I guarantee you that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Imagine last year Tennessee. Celebrating stopping a losing streak to Alabama, the fans stormed the field, and the commissioner 2 days later comes out and says,
"You didn't win it.
You didn't win the game because your fans stormed the field
because they acted a fool." So that'll stop. That'll as Barney used to say, that'll nip it in the bud real fast. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what they ought to do.
Greg Sankey says, "I don't think just passing a rule can stop it. People have to stop it." Mm-hmm. Has the fine system changed behavior? He says, yes. Can you stop it? Sure. You can send teams into stands to celebrate with fans, said Greg Sankey. We see that in basketball pretty frequently. You can educate your fans. Stay off the floor. Mm-hmm. We're going to come to you, and let's celebrate that way. He says there are positive ways to engage in post-game celebration that don't involve rushing the field and tearing down goalposts.
Yeah, that's another thing. Tearing down goalposts, taking them down, and you do that when you don't expect to win, by the way, and throw them in ditches and everything else because Tennessee didn't expect to beat Alabama because they had lost 15 years in a row. So that's why they did that,
right?
Because they weren't. The expectation was to get your ass kicked again. So and they won. And so,
yes.
But then, pandemonium ensued. And again, it's just there's no place for it. And, celebrate, have fun, go to Calhoun's, have a drink, whatever. But just don't rush the field. There's too much that can happen that is not good. Pretty much all of it is not.
No.
If you think about it.
Tearing down a goalpost is not good.
Getting in another player's face is not. And to me, if a fan, says something inappropriate to a player or takes a swing at a player or tries to, jump on a player, physically and do something, if you end up getting your tail body slammed, guess what? You shouldn't be able to sue them. You shouldn't be able to do anything because you're in their personal space where you're not supposed to be. Your drunk ass is supposed to be in the stands, okay? Because 99% of you are drunk anyway.
I'll agree with that.
So,
Jeff in the Borough with us this morning. Good morning, Jeff.
How you doing, guys?
Good.
What's up,
I
Jeff?
know they talked about it before. What about a couple years ago when in Tennessee had the mustard bottles?
Oh, yeah, against Ole Miss?
No, they stole them from the concession stand. they stole them.
That's right.
Took them up in the stand and then threw them down the stand and threw a golf ball, hit him with the elbow, hit him in the elbow. Now, what about that? Are they going to let them forfeit a game against Ole Miss because of that?
I don't know. That's a great question because there's no place for that either, Jeff. I agree with you there.
And they did it during baseball when Notre Dame. Somebody tweeted out said Tennessee fans throwing stuff on the field a tradition unlike any other. So somebody tweeted it out.
Did they add the Masters music?
No, they had the music. No, it was just somebody. I don't know. It was I found out it was a fan of the USCC team, but I don't know what he didn't say what it was. He just put out. I think he had a video of it or something. They throwing junk on the field, whatever they threw cans or whatever they threw on the field. They played Notre Dame at Super Regional last year.
I remember.
That's what they're calling. But what about that? I mean, field storming. I mean. It goes in basketball. I mean, every time somebody beats Kentucky, it's score storming. So, I mean, what's the difference? I mean, Alabama, we beat. I mean, what you a couple years ago, y'all beat us, and y'all stormed the court. So, I guess Kentucky wins that ball game. We won because y'all stormed the court. So, like you said, it'll stop all that court storming business. It'll stop all that by getting Auburn answer. They can't get them off the field tonight. It'll stop all that foolishness. When y'all really going to win the ball game, always hollering, always touchdown Auburn, and always control yourself. That's what it's called. Can you control yourself? And we always hobnail. But what is a hobnail boot? I'll be dang. Like John Ward said, when Larry Munson did a ball game, he broke every rule of broadcasting. And he said Caber Ledford was the best of all time because he never hollered and screamed, and he told it like it was. He don't get all excited like he's an now. Like one guy said one time on the announcing thing they had, it was Auburn or somebody, and he said he's about to pull the guy. He's about to leap out of the press box. Then he touched down Auburn. The guy had to pull his pants back.
Charlie Trotman with the great Jim Fife. That's what happened.
85 feet down. He almost jumped out.
I think it was against Georgia Tech.
Your press box, I'll jump to the press box to his death. All the touchdown, all this stuff. That's why the Nationals need to control themselves. And that Alabama guy saying you work for Donald Tuff. You do. If I'm AD and you do that stuff, baby, you're fired. I don't want somebody hollering and screaming at the mic. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but I don't want somebody. I want somebody to control themselves. Have some calm about it. But I just want to ask you guys what you think about throwing stuff on the field too. That ought to be the same.
Yeah, that should be the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've never been a proponent of throwing anything on the field and throwing it at people. I mean, that's just totally because I mean, the only outcome is bad. Okay.
Right. What if like that night they had to get the band and all that stuff out of the stadium, the Tennessee band, the Ole Miss, whatever. What if they really injured Kiffin? What if they really hurt him bad?
Oh, I know.
I mean, it could have hurt.
Or a player.
Hurt him bad.
Anybody.
Hurt with the hospital. Anybody. I'm saying he got hit. I mean, anybody could have got a player. Anybody.
Right.
I know. Well, I ain't no guy to see y'all.
All right, thanks.
I would agree with that 100%. I mean, I remember that game. They were throwing mustard bottles all over the field and everything. Golf balls. Yeah, it was terrible. I mean, it's absolutely atrocious. I mean, you can't act that way. And that's any team. Look, man. Years ago, I was in Tuscaloosa at a game, and I was getting hit in the head with cups and everything. Got doused with bourbon and Coke or whatever. And I turned around and said, the next person that hits me in the head with a cup, you're gonna have a big problem. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in other words, stop acting like a doofus. Okay. I mean, it's just. I mean, come on, man.
No, I know.
I know. Give me a break. There's no place for that. You don't throw things on the field. You cheer, you yell, everything. I completely agree with that. And I will disagree with one part of what Jeff said. I like the passion of the broadcasters. Look, I mean, I think that's part of it. Now you and everybody has different styles. Like Kaywood Ledford was very calm. He was an awesome broadcaster. Hall of Famer, Munson was different. Yeah, they're all. That's what makes everything unique and good.
Right.
Okay. I think you can do that. It's not. I don't think it's stepping over the line or anything. If you're a homer for your team that you're broadcasting for, or if you are just straight down the middle, either style works. But the throwing on the stuff on the field, the running out on the field, all that kind of stuff, going where you're not supposed to be, that is just not good. It's just not going to – it's just – I've always been against it.
Bailey, what were you going to say?
I'm about to say, I know it's not college, but wasn't there a NFL professional game where fans were – like just throwing beer bottles, everything onto the field? It was like back in the 90s, I think.
Well, there's been all kind of incidences with crowd being unruly in European soccer, which is football over there. But I mean, they're just, and that's where the term hooligan came from. Where that's just been where games have been canceled or games have been stopped because of idiots in the stands acting a fool.
So we'll have to see what the SEC ultimately decides. There's six ideas that they have come up with, and who is going to be in charge? Who is in charge of these? Well, Georgia's AD Josh Brooks, Alabama's Greg Byrne, and Kentucky's Mitch Barnhart are the three-man committee that Greg Sankey has put in charge of coming up with ideas to present to everyone, and eventually they will have a new policy.
Well, we had a listener text in, and I thought his idea was very interesting. And this would be another thing where they'd be like, because it could cost them players. But his idea was, okay, you find the school $1 billion and you put the money in the other team's collective.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so it gives them $1 million to go buy some players. So you may have – it'd be funny. You might lose a player to the other school the next week.
That's what I was going to say.
Going in the portal.
I'm going to buy your team. Buy your team next week.
Yeah, you got to get $1 million in your
quarterback there, I want him.
Yeah, I want him. That linebacker.
That's what we do. We let a
like
team
$300,000. I'll give the linebacker $300,000.
It's like old school, middle school, elementary. You just get to pick a player from the other team.
You guys wanted to play Madden where you create players?
Yeah, I'm going to walk into the locker room. You storm the field, I get to come into your locker room and take a player.
Exactly.
I want you. Red Rover, Red Rover.
Let this linebacker come over. Oh boy!
All right, we got to get a break in. It was a tough night for midweek SEC baseball. Plus, Deion Sanders in Colorado. It's an interesting twist, but it's a legal twist as what's going on there in Boulder. Mm-hmm.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky this afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the low and mid-60s. We're going to maintain the opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms through a good majority of the afternoon, even as we head into the evening. This pattern is going to continue across the Tennessee Valley as we head into your Thursday. Mostly cloudy to overcast sky, scattered showers and thunderstorms, though it is going to be a little bit warmer. Temperatures climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Just got a wreck at Homer Nance and Sarah Lee. That one's coming in as a no injury. Had one at Old Big Cove and Peach Pond. That one's got an overturned vehicle reported with injury. Old Gurley and Shields had a vehicle hit a utility pole. That one may still be causing a problem. Popeye's Shrimp Tackle Box has 8 crispy Louisiana seasoned butterfly shrimp with a signature side and a buttermilk biscuit. It's only $6. Popeye's University and Jordan, 72 and Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
New name, new players, and an even better championship experience. This April, the Korn Ferry Tour returns to the Rocket City for the 2023 Hometown Lenders Championship at the Ledges. Experience the beauty and drama of the Ledges in person as golf's rising stars chase their PGA Tour dreams. From the first man on the green to the roar of the crowd when the final putt drops. Be part of every moment of the Hometown Lenders Championship at the Ledges from April 24th through April 30th. Tickets to be a part of the action are on sale now at htlchamp.com.
New coordinators.
That's as good as money, sir.
New quarterback.
It's my quarterback.
Same coach.
And you all may be taking the week off, this week, but I'm not.
We are your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. 256-576-4977. That's the phone lines. Want to hear from you on a Wednesday morning, just like Richard is joining us out of the break. Good morning, Richard.
Morning, guys. On the the talk about storming the field, one thing about basically giving the other team a home game the next year. You don't play everybody every other year,
right?
So that would probably not work. And I think a lot of the schools actually, kind of egg the fans on to storm the field.
Yeah, in some ways they do.
Yeah, because a lot of them, it's like you have no security guards. Because Tuscaloosa has all kind of security guards all around the field. And as soon as there's a timeout, I mean, Drew, you see it. You go down on the field.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they always have security people all around, and the fence is, 6 feet high.
I was going to say, it's kind of hard. It'd be hard to storm Bryant-Denny Stadium, just the way the layout is of the fence around the field.
Yeah.
And
that one end, the end zone by the students, you might be able to. You know, where the kind of the frat guys sit down in that one. That'd be the south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think I think security would be. I don't think too many would get through, and I think security would be able to stop a lot of them.
Yeah, somebody.
One thing you might have to do is some sort of netting, almost like what you see at your baseball park. Because a lot of these, it's like I think Notre Dame and Michigan. Your grandmother could hop over. The wall's only 3 or 4 feet high.
Yeah.
A lot of these places is just so easy because you're right on the field. So a lot of times it's the kind of the layout of your field, but you'd almost have to put up some kind of netting or fence to make it harder out to do it. But the one thing about it is the forfeiture would do it within reason. But like for Tennessee, that would have probably worked. But somebody that's 2-8, what's the difference? This is going to be, Vandy beating Tennessee. You're not going to a bowl game anyway.
Yeah,
like I said, Tennessee last year beating us, they thought they could, play in the championship game.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big deal for them, but if you have a losing record...
Then South Kakalaki happened.
And I may be wrong, but I thought, and I'm talking 20 years ago, but I think a fan, a student for Northwestern ended up getting paralyzed, on the goalpost, dancing around, and it broke.
Yeah, I'm sure there's been injuries. There's no question about it. That's what Scott and I were saying. There's really nothing good that comes out of it.
The goalpost one is the scary situation. Yeah. And look, I'll say this. I got caught in kick 6. I got caught on the field.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Because we were getting as much video as you could.
Right.
And so I was caught on the field
and
during
you were
kick
on the
6.
field during the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah, I was on there during the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And I was on there for the whole thing. And it was, I'm telling you, it was awful. It was awful trying to get through because there were so many people. Mm-hmm. You were so close, and you it was a fear of getting, if you fell down, you were going to get trampled.
Yeah. And you got all this equipment.
Yeah,
you got all these cameras.
There was nowhere you could go. You had to go with the flow of the crowd, even if that's not where you wanted to go.
Scary deal, yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, you're going to have to put the fence might block some view, but I think a lot of these stadiums, at a certain point, you're going to have to put up some sort of netting or fence or something, because some of them are just too easy to hop on the field out. But in some of the basketball, like Alabama's kind of tough because all the students are in the stands. There's not, it's all the people with the rich guys with the good seats at Tuscaloosa are all the ones sitting around the court. So there's no students at all on the court in Tuscaloosa out, which would make it hard. But like I said, different basketball arenas have different seating and depending on. So that's a little bit tougher. But like I said, football, most of them you could put up some sort of fence that might block some view, but at least on the student section, side, maybe because the students don't sit around the whole stadium out, but kind of give a hint out there. But I kind of like the one that the guy that I sent the text in. No, that would actually do it in about 2 seconds. So you would have had what's his name, the coach of Tennessee, on the loudspeaker. Do not run on the field. Heupel would be out there dragging them back off if we were going to get $1 million to put in the collective out. So we can go by Nick Onalovo, whatever his name is, back from
Iomaliava, man.
Yeah, we can give him part of his $8 million or whatever.
All right, Richard.
Yeah, it might forfeit. Yeah. If Nico knew he was having to forfeit part of that dang $8 or $9 million, you wouldn't be happy.
They should be throwing picks on purpose.
Yeah. That's opening a whole other can of worms, man.
Yep.
Get mad at the coaches and then just start throwing the ball game.
All right, Richard. Thanks for the phone call, bud.
Yeah, see you guys later.
All right. All right, 256-576-4977. Feel free to join the conversation this morning via
I can just see that. Scott, did you see that? That looked like an obvious interception. Why would he underhand the ball to the linebacker? I don't know, but they forfeited the game last week, and some of his money's gone.
Can you imagine this, though? I mean, let's just say it comes down to the East and it comes down to the West Championship. You got two undefeated teams, both in the college football playoffs. One team A, gets a win.
Yeah.
And their fans storm the field. They're going to the playoffs for the first time ever. They're going to Atlanta for the SEC championship. Their fans storm the field. Greg Sankey says, "Guess what, guys? Your fans stormed the field. You're not going. You didn't win the game. You got to forfeit it."
We should have just had it on on ready to go. Just hit the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And just start yodeling.
I don't know if you can forfeit a game. I mean, seriously, I don't. That would be awfully tough. I mean, I would be pushing the fans back in the stands. He's going. We're gonna lose. We can't forfeit the game. Get back in there. All right. Who do we have?
What's up, Jeremy?
What up? Good morning, Jeremy.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, man.
I got a question. I got a couple of questions, actually.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, I really got to see what the ruling and all that stuff's going to be, but is it just storming the field, or is it punishment if the goalposts start getting tore down?
I think it's the storming of the field which leads to that.
Yes.
Because again, you don't start tearing down the goalpost until a bunch of fools run out on the field. So I think it's just the act of storming the field, which I think the fine right now is $250,000 or something.
For the first one, and then it goes up, I think, $500,000 for the second.
Yeah, which right now they've been able to pay for, and Tennessee gladly did when they weren't expecting to do anything because they haven't been for a long time. And now they are. Everybody's got them in the top 10. They may be a great team this year. Maybe going to be going on a run, so we'll see.
Well, so my second question is this: what happened to these grounds crew guys? I remember watching when there was an upset coming,
right?
And you'd hear them talk about the grounds crew and security already pulling the goalposts down.
Right.
Second clock at 0.
Yep.
I haven't seen that in forever. I mean,
yeah.
There used to be precautions when it came to that, but you're dealing with a bunch of like still somewhat adolescent people.
No question.
And it goes back to me, kind of amusingly takes me back to Animal House. I mean, you've got now Sankey's going to get turned into the dean who's put
Dean Wortman
SEC fans on triple-double probation, secret probation. And so what do you do? I mean, because my thing is this: we went to Nashville for New Year's Eve a few years ago, and Chris Stapleton and Kings of Leon were playing downtown.
Okay,
and we tried, and we got maybe 100 feet in, and it felt like the walls from every side were closing in. It felt like people were we were a beacon, and everybody was trying to get through where we were standing at one time.
Right.
And from what I've understood, that's exactly how it felt in Tennessee this past year when they beat Alabama. I know a gentleman that was there, and he was on the field. He was on Tennessee's sideline, and he told me, he said, dude, it's like the walls just started moving in. He said, I felt like I was in the trash compactor in Star Wars. He said it was just like, just coming in on him. And I told him, I said, I am glad I did not take him up on his invite to come up to that ball game.
You can't do anything. You can't move. You physically cannot do anything. And you've got all these people around you. You have an intention. You know, in your mind, I knew where I wanted to go at the Auburn. I knew I needed to get to the tunnel, but I'm 80 yards away from where I need to be, and I can't get there.
And there's no way to get there.
I can't just say, excuse me.
No.
I can't say, excuse
me.
There's too many people. You can't part the whole way.
You're stuck. Like, I mean, let me guess. How did you even get to post game? Like,
the
coaches.
You physically you have to be rude. You physically have to try to be tough and just try to force your
way through all that.
And that's harder than.
Oh, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah.
And that's where the Alabama and state troopers and Tennessee, Georgia state troopers, that's where they earn their money, getting them coaches back there to that locker room.
Yeah. No, I can understand why coaches are concerned. After you go through it, I can understand why coaches and players, they're concerned about players because there's nowhere to go. You can't go physically anywhere.
And not just the players, even you guys covering the game. I mean, anybody can get injured, or your
you're right.
Thousands of dollars worth of equipment can get absolutely destroyed because drunk people are acting a fool because they their team won a game they didn't think they had any business winning.
Well, and at least it's better than what some of these, when a hockey team wins or a soccer team wins and they decide they just going to destroy
the hooligans. Yeah.
I mean, like UConn winning this last national championship in basketball. I saw reports of them setting stuff on fire. And,
I saw that. Yeah,
flipping cars, and it's like, how is that celebration?
It's not.
It's
flipping cars over. I mean, these people. I mean, no matter where you're at, it's just stupid.
It is.
I mean, just like when teams win pro championships and they act a fool. I mean, any of it, no matter where it is, it's stupidity. Just absolute idiocy.
Well, guys, thank you. I appreciate it, taking my call and everything. And
thank you, Jeremy.
Hopefully there's got to be some answer to this. And hopefully we don't end up with looking like we're watching the old gridiron gang play football behind chicken wire and razor wire because they don't want you to get out on the field.
Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that.
We don't.
Let's get a break in. When we come back, we're going to take your phone calls again. I know we got a break. 256-576-4977. Your thoughts.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Just got a wreck at Homer Nance and Sarah Lee. That one's coming in as a no injury. Had one at Old Big Cove and Peach Pond. That one's got an overturned vehicle reported with injury. Old Gurley and Shields had a vehicle hit a utility pole. That one may still be causing a problem. Popeye's Shrimp Tackle Box has 8 crispy Louisiana seasoned butterfly shrimp with a signature side and a buttermilk biscuit. It's only $6. Popeye's University and Jordan, 72 and Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Flow Trampoline Park is Huntsville's newest destination for family fun. There's an inflatable park for the little ones, air track basketball court for the sports people, and a variety of other aerial sports attractions. Plus, plenty of couches and TVs for the spectators. And this Friday, get a $50 voucher to Flow for just $25 on Zone Deals. We have a limited number of these great deals on sale now at wzzn.halfoffdeal.com. Keep an eye on all our social media channel for the link to wzzn.halfoffdeal.com and get in on the fun right now.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
70 ESPN The Zone. Mike Detillier is coming up at the top of the hour.
Hey, we'll ask you if Anthony Richardson's an alien.
Oh, Anthony Richardson telling the NFL Network he is not human. He's an alien. I don't think I can be compared to anybody. That's Anthony Richardson's comments, not ours.
He had some bright moments in his career, man. I just don't know. But, I mean,
Mike Detillier will sort it all out for us.
But, I mean, I can tell you this. I think at times maybe since South Florida thought he was the E.T. phone home. Did he?
He was an alien, all right.
He wasn't playing good.
He's from another planet.
I guess there he wasn't aiming the ball.
Well, Gator fans didn't have to worry about storming the field when he was playing.
No.
Bama Bino with us. Good morning, Bama Bino.
What's up, dude?
Hey, guys. I hadn't called in lately, so I just thought y'all sound like y'all having some fun there now.
Well, you got to have fun. You got to have fun on the show.
You got to have fun, but and it makes it easy when dumbasses say they're not human and they're aliens.
We're just reading the screen.
We're just reading what people are saying.
Yeah.
Well, I've been accused of not being human too sometimes. So, hey.
I mean, the kid's a talent physically. There's no question about that. I just question whether or not he can consistently play quarterback. But he is a heck of an athlete.
He's a good athlete, but
no question.
He's not delivering on that ball in part. But I went to the Hampton Cove yard sale a couple of weeks ago and talked to you guys. I got me a good deal on. See, I listen to you guys everywhere I'm at. I got to go to the farm, take a shower, and got my tools down here to go do electrical or whatever. And I got one on the back porch, upstairs, in the front porch, and in the garage. So anywhere I go in the house, I can hear y'all. Okay. I found a good deal on a real nice home theater system, and I'm not using it for nothing but the receiver for the radio. But it had like subwoofers and 4 tweeters, center speaker, and all that. And so I can listen to you guys outside. If I'm mowing, I can hear you.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I didn't give nothing for it, hardly. Go to the Hampton Cove Estates first. That's where they got stuff that they don't need the money. They just want to get rid of it. That's what I figured that out.
Yeah, that's the highfalutin yard sales.
Yeah, there you go.
The highfalutin yard sale, as Jerry Clower would call it.
Yeah.
Highfalutin. Yeah, but I just wanted to say I haven't forgot about you guys. I listen to you every morning.
We appreciate that.
I've been doing some electrical lately, and my knees the way it is. After a while, I can call in more because. But I'm working. I'm helping a friend of mine, so I'm not working with a company or nothing. So I can work on my own pace. I know what needs done, but the way my knees is. I played ball guys half my age till I was 45, and that's been there 10 years. So I'm bone on bone, but I have to have another replacement on my knee. So
yeah,
I'm not. I'm gonna have some new parts for long. But I just want to let you guys know, best station in the world, and I love you guys.
Thank you,
Bama
We
Bino.
appreciate it. But I'm going to tell you what, I can't believe we got aliens on the show now. I mean,
that is the best. That is the best comment I've seen.
That's the. He's promoting himself. I'll give him credit.
I am not human.
I'm going to the Hall of Fame. I'm an alien. I'm not human. I'm the best player. I mean, at least he's showing the confidence. Now he may get some people fired, or he may make some people look like geniuses. We'll see. He is supremely physically talented, but that's not what all a quarterback playing it
Well,
is.
I think the sample size from Anthony
And it's
Richardson
small.
plays a
It's
lot
small.
into it. It's very
I would have
small.
liked to have seen him come back and see how much better he could get.
If Anthony Richardson came back this year, started every game
Yeah.
for the Florida Gators, had a great year for Florida,
He
we
could have
would
been the
be
number one
looking-
pick.
Yeah, we'd be looking at him in a whole different light.
But if he had come back and struggled again, he might have ended up being a 3rd or a 4th round pick. Still get drafted to be developed.
Right.
But he bet on himself, and I saw an interview with Billy Napier that was interesting. He said that Anthony Richardson really did a thorough job of looking at his draft grade before he decided to skip the bowl game in Vegas and leave. And Billy even said he got evaluated by every team, and he had 10 first-round grades from teams. And so he just figured, okay, I've got a really good shot if I do what I'm supposed to do, working out, going to the combine and all this stuff, of being a first-round pick if 10 teams already think I'm a first-rounder.
Right.
So he just was thinking, and like Billy Napier said, if you got a first-round grade, it's tough to go back to school. And so he decided to bet on himself.
So there have only been 4
Yeah.
Florida quarterbacks selected in the first round since 1967.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Spurrier back in
first, yeah.
67.
Heisman, yeah.
Third overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
John Reeves,
Right after him, in the 60s.
1972.
Or 72, I'm sorry.
Number 14 in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Rex Grossman, 2003 Chicago, number 22 overall. And Tim Tebow, 2010 Denver Broncos.
And some people were shocked that Tebow went in the first round.
Yeah.
And the only one of those quarterbacks that really became a good pro is Rex Grossman, and that wasn't for a long time. He got to 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But
and that Super Bowl really was more defense.
And think about it. Danny Werfel was the best quarterback that Spurrier had, and he was, I think, drafted in the mid-rounds because he lacked the physical tools. He didn't have the arm strength and stuff. Played a while as a backup quarterback, but it's just one of those things. He wasn't a starter. But that doesn't have anything to do with your college career. You play as well as you can play. But, I mean, with Richardson, it's total boom or bust. He could end up being a superstar because he physically can do anything, but it's the neck up part and the accuracy and being coached up. Can you get the most out of him? I still wouldn't burn. I'd maybe take a 2nd round flight, like a Jalen Hurts, but I wouldn't take a high first rounder.
So if you're keeping track of the Florida Gators, now we are just over 24 hours away from the NFL draft getting underway in Kansas City. Florida, by the way, has had at least 1 player selected in the first round of 9 of the past 10 NFL drafts.
Interesting.
So that could change tomorrow. It could be either 9 of the past 11 or 10 of the past 11.
Well,
it's up to you. If Anthony Richardson goes in the first round.
He's got to go in the first round at this point. I
Right.
mean, there's too much speculation on him going in the top 5. So even if he drops, or even if they're talking about Stroud dropping, I still think he's a first round pick by someone.
All right, who else is a first-round pick? Will Levis at number 1?
Oh,
Will
Lord.
Levis at number 2? Vegas says, hey, Will Levis is a favorite for number 2. Where does Mike Detillier think all of this is going to land? It's been a long time since we've talked to Mike.
I'm really looking forward to it.
We've paid the bills. We're going to talk to Mike Detillier next.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Check out VSiN's catalog of original podcasts, daily and weekly programming to keep you in the know when you're on the go. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NBA playoffs last night. The Hawks beat the Celtics 119-117. Boston was favored by 14. Atlanta paying plus 650. The over was 236. Boston up 3-2 in the series. The Nuggets eliminated the Timberwolves 112-109. Denver was a 10-point favorite. The under 221. The Suns eliminated the Clippers 136-130. Phoenix was favored by 12.5. They covered by 6.5. The over 266. Tonight, the Knicks can close out the Cavaliers, but Cleveland favored by 5.5. Memphis favored by 4 at home against the Lakers, but LA up 3-1 in the series.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball Hour 2. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you on a Wednesday morning, and we closed hour number 1 by getting you on track for the NFL Draft. We are a little over 24 hours away from round 1 getting underway in Kansas City. That's going to be the Mecca for the NFL Draft this year. We told you yesterday they've built the largest stage for an NFL Draft in Kansas City, expecting crowds somewhere around Nashville style, Nashville type. So it could be an entertaining draft as far as crowd goes. We already, and we expect Bryce Young to go number 1 to Carolina. We expect that to happen.
Right.
But where does 2, 3, 4, 5 go? Does Will Levis go up there high? Does Anthony Richardson go high? Where does Will Anderson figure into all of this? A lot of intriguing thoughts behind or beyond number 1.
And nobody better than to speak with. It's been too long, but he's been a huge part of our show. But it's great to have him back. He's so busy this week. He's a college and pro football analyst. He's now co-host of Sports Talk on WWL in New Orleans, Louisiana. And, of course, for many, many years, the M&D NFL Draft Report. And he's part of SaintsReport.com, part of Sports Illustrated. And now we're going to talk to Mike Detillier, MikeDetillier.com. Mike, it's great to have you back. You're with Drew and Scott in Huntsville. How are you?
I'm great, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you. And I know you've been on with us many years, and you always talk about silly season around this time. The agents putting out this stuff, these misinformation going on. But it does look like Bryce Young is going to be number 1. Or is that what you're hearing? It does seem like it makes the most sense right now for the Carolina Panthers. And then kind of some intrigue with number 2. But is Bryce locked into 1?
Yeah, I've always felt that way. And I know you've had 4 different people become the favorite for the betting odds to be the number 1 overall pick. But listen, for me, it's clear cut. It's Bryce Young, and I'm always sort of prototypical about players, but there are always outliers, always people outside the grid, and that's Bryce. There's nothing you can do about his size, and this is a big man's game, but man, he is special as a player. And his ability to put the ball through arms and hands like very few people can. Throughout watching football in my lifetime, to see what Kenny Stabler could do, or Montana, or Steve Young, or Drew Brees, Bryce Young fits into that mode in being able to put that ball through a lot of hands and arms and get it to where it needs to get. Last summer at Manning camp, Bryce shows up. Archie Manning and I, we on a golf cart, and we ride and watching Bryce throw the football. And I guess he had like 25 throws, and I think only one of them touched the ground, and that was because the receiver dropped it. And Archie tells me, he says, Mike, I always ask you about a comp for a player. He said, but I'm going to give you one. He said, Bryce Young is our version today of Fran Tarkenton.
Ah, interesting.
And I think that's pretty damn close.
Mike, what do you think of the size question that people talk about Bryce Young? And he'll go number one, but what do you think about the size question or the people questioning his size?
Yeah, well, I knew that was going to happen, because I've been around Bryce, so I know he wasn't the biggest guy in the world. So it wasn't a surprise. And I think a lot of this has to do also with recent events of injuries to Tua, who is a similar size. So, you understand, you always sort of reckon to what's happened in the moment. But man, he's played against some pretty big guys in the SEC, and he's done really well. So I get it, and I understand it, certainly. But there's no perfect prospect, okay? There's no, guy that no matter what. I saw Carson Wentz, who's a lot bigger player. He's had one injury after another.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, you go back to that, who can help me win the quickest? And there's no question, it's Bryce.
And then, Mike, the number 2 pick, there's been a lot of conversation about, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson trading out. Will Anderson seems to be a hot name now. If you're the Houston Texans, what do you do here in DeMeco Ryans?
This would be a slam dunk C.J. Stroud. But the same management team that handles C.J. also handled Deshaun Watson.
Oh, wow.
Gotcha. There you go.
And so, this is where owners get involved. Okay, yeah, nothing against CJ, but I ain't dealing with that same group. And we got people on Sports Talk. Well, my boss don't tell me what to do. Oh yeah, you unemployed a lot too, Jack. Unless you're working for yourself, I guarantee your boss tell you what to do. It opens up a lot of different areas, and I give him a lot of credit on this. Lance Zernline, who's a good friend of mine, he had this about 10 days ago. He did not think that they would pick a quarterback. And I wouldn't be surprised here. This potentially could be a surprise pick, and it'd be Tyree Wilson, the defensive end from Texas Tech, who looks the part at times, plays the part, but he's on the all-potential team, which means he hasn't done it on a consistent basis. But you think about how that setup is in Houston with DeMeco Ryans, a defensive-oriented coach. This may come down to Tyree Wilson or Will Anderson instead of a quarterback.
Could Houston then take a quarterback later? Because they've got a couple first-round picks.
Yeah,
could they
12? Yeah.
Could they hold off and get? We kind of laughed this morning because Anthony Richardson was saying that he's not human, he's alien, all this other stuff. But could they take a quarterback like an Anthony Richardson then at 12 later in that first round?
Probably won't be there, though.
Man, this is a sort of a strange year that one of those top 4 quarterbacks will slide. I just have a feeling one of them will. And if any of the 4 will, it's Anthony Richardson. The alien stuff, okay, he's a great athlete, and I'll take nothing away from him. Physically, he's got what you would look for. When you watch him on tape and you break it down, he misses open receivers. He's not mechanically sound. Can you fix that? Yeah, but he's not ready for prime time yet. He's not ready to start in this league. The other flip card is how teams feel about Hendon Hooker.
Yes.
Because now you're in a situation of when you would get Hooker back as a player. coming off the knee injury. If you're Houston and with that second pick, would you go with the guy that you have today until Hooker's ready? And so it gives you maybe a little bit of a bridge for Hooker. More and more, I've heard teams say, man, other than Bryce, I think Hooker could play for us right away in the NFL. And so he's an interesting kind of joker card here in the bunch here. And I certainly don't think he'll get out of round one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he'll be a top 20 or 21 pick. But where he ends up, see, Houston could well throw a wild card here and say, you know what, we'll roll the dice with it. We'll pick the defensive player that we like. Let's see if one of the four fall, but if all four of them are gone, let's go with Hooker.
Mm-hmm. And, Mike, what are your thoughts on Levis? Does he go to Indy at 4, or where do you see him landed?
Yeah, that seems to be the most likely spot for Will. And, man, I'll be honest with you. At the Manning camp this year, we had most of the top quarterbacks in this draft class, with the exception of Stroud. Will was the most impressive of all the guys there throwing the ball. And yet when I watched him play this year, he didn't play that way. He was inaccurate. His reads were hesitant to make a throw downfield. Now, he wasn't playing with an all-star team around him now. So I'll cut him a little bit of slack on that. But I thought his read and recognition skills were a little bit slower than I really thought it would be, to be honest with you. And so I think he goes to Indy. I don't see him being like a game one starter, though he might have to be in Indy. And this is where an owner could be sort of meddlesome. I say sort of. Jimmy's always been
Jim Mercer.
He's the space cadet of the bunch as far as owners are concerned. I think that's where a lot of that talk is coming from, because I think other than Bryce, I think, because if Indy had the first pick, it would be Bryce. It wouldn't even be a question about it, because he basically kind of was hinting that direction almost from the day Bryce made it official. But I think it ends up being Levis to Indy.
So if Bryce Young does not go number 2, if Texans decide to not use Bryce Young, not Bryce Young, Will Anderson, my bad, Will Anderson. I had Bryce on my mind. If Will Anderson does not go number 2, where does Will Anderson slip to?
Man, listen, if I'm Seattle, I'll race to the board.
Right.
At that point in time. Though I will say that there is one guy, the two guys here for me that are most intriguing is one, Jalen Carter. Because for me,
Georgia,
yeah, he is the best player in this draft class.
Really?
He's one of the few guys, and I see it every year. There's probably one like that. He's talented. He doesn't play hard every snap. But, and I heard one former general manager running his stupid mouth about it. Okay, tell me a big man that plays hard all the time on defense. Come on. He can't fling that out there. He knows damn well that happens all the time. But Jalen Carter's got the ability to take that talent knob, and you hear click, click, and he can take it from one notch to the next, and then one notch to the next. When he wants to, he's dominant. But, you're talking about a 19, 20-year-old, that they're not playing hard every snap. So I heard that, and I have to chuckle, because I've been doing this 36 years. I do know that is a rare occurrence, that you see that big man up front along that defensive line give you 100% effort on every snap. Come on, that doesn't happen. But he's just trying to pile on here, and because he's unemployed is one of the reasons why I see why to make that type of statement. Now, can you say you'd like to see him play with a little bit more consistency? Yes. The off-the-field issues is certainly concerning, that there's some maturity there. So you would want to bring him to a team that's got some veterans around him to help in that spot. But, my goodness, I know against LSU, in talking to the coaching staff there, their main concern was, look, we got to combo block him. And I didn't think he took too kindly to that, because he got hit a couple times. Then all of a sudden, man, he took over that game. You know, you watched him pick up, Jaden Daniels like he was a rag doll. And he, Daniels was, hey, I was just telling him, put me down, I'm okay. They blew the whistle, on that spot. But, man, Jaden Daniels, when he wants to, he can completely take over a football game, completely take over a game. And so he's intrigued for me on defense. On offense is Bijan Robinson. It's got nothing to do with his effort, nothing to do with anything physically about him, because he's a terrific inside runner. He's got the speed to hit the edge. He's the best receiver Texas has, and he's also a really good pass protector. But we live in an age where running back is devalued. And who is going to use that pick early on a running back? And whoever doesn't pick him better get ready to have to play against him. Because I think of all the players in this draft class, he's more ready to make a bigger impact than any other guy in this draft class. He's that good of a player. But some of these guys better not have any thickness in their heads, better understand just how good of a player Bijan is. But where does he fall? Would he go to it? Would Atlanta make that move? Philly has no history. They haven't picked a first-round pick running back since Keith Byers.
Wow. Ohio State.
Wow.
Man, that's a long period of time. And Howie has not been someone to put running back as a priority. I think he picked Miles Sanders, who's now in Carolina, in round 2, but he's never picked a running back in the first round. 10. I think the free fall would stop with New England, because it would be a Belichick-type pick.
Yeah, I mean, but he would seem like he would be a perfect fit for what Philly's doing, though, at 10, wouldn't it, Mike?
I wouldn't want to have to play him. Man, okay, you got Devontae, you got A.J. Brown, you got Dallas Goedert, Jalen Hurts at quarterback, and then you put Bijan on that team. Man, that would be pretty tough. That would be really tough to go up against.
It would.
And I think it would surprise me a little, but it wouldn't shock me that they go that route. I think for a lot of people here is, what happens if Atlanta picks it? Because when you think about, they picked Drake London last year in round 1. He was not the clear-cut number 1 consensus receiver. I think, some people had Garrett Wilson, Olave, sort of into that, and Drake was coming off of an injury. You got Pitts, and you're trying to protect a young quarterback in Desmond Ridder as he matures. What's the best way to protect him? Run the ball.
Yeah.
Right.
No doubt.
And so I know a lot of people in Atlanta don't feel they'll go that route, but I think you got to have that discussion if you're the Falcons. And in Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith in year 3, how much patience does Mr. Blank have with me?
Great
Mike
stuff.
Cotillier joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Mike, great draft stuff, but I want to get one quick question on LSU spring. Your thoughts on the LSU spring game?
Looks a lot different than I saw a year ago. You didn't know anything about LSU a year ago, especially in the trenches. And at quarterback. Offensive line, this team played 2 freshmen last year, in Will Campbell and Emory Jones. They have more depth this year. You return 4 of 5 starters. In fact, 4 to 5 starters, but you have 5 of the 6 top offensive linemen from a year ago back. You have Mason Smith back along the defensive line. That's the one area where I'd have to see, can they build up a little bit more depth? But with Harold Perkins, Greg Penn, and Omar Spates, who you got in from Oregon State, secondary looks pretty good. Jaden Daniels is a much more confident and a much more accurate quarterback than I saw in the spring of a year ago. LSU, and there's more pressure on them this year, but I think they're the team to beat in the SEC West. Because of the experience at quarterback, offensive line coming back with 4 or 5 starters, and Malik Neighbors, they still trying to cover him. I mean, Malik is really a good football player. So unless their special teams burns again, which we saw last year had a tendency for a couple of times to do, I think LSU is the favorite in the SEC West because of the experience at quarterback, because of offensive line play, and defensively, man, you got a couple guys there in Mason Smith and Harold Perkins who could be superstar players for you.
No question. Perkins is so disruptive, and Mason Smith was on his way probably until he got the freak injury in the opener against FSU. Well, Mike, we've really enjoyed catching back up with you. Great stuff on the draft and LSU. Let everybody know how to follow you.
Oh, okay. SaintsReport.com, WWL.com.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Y'all take care.
Mike Detillier with us. Got to get a break in. When we come back, NFL talk, not draft talk.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
That wreck at Drake and Triana may actually be on the Parkway northbound near Drake. They're blocking off a traffic lane there, but it turns out to be a no injury. Got one at Homer Nance and Sarah Lee. It's a no injury. Had one at Old Big Cove and Peach Pond. One had an overturned vehicle reported with injuries. And Old Gurley and Shields Road had a vehicle hit a utility pole. Still may be working with that one. Great summer start at the Y and at Camp Chalakee on Lake Guntersville. Overnight at day camp, kayak, zipline, go on the giant swing or even the blob. Chalakee.org or call the YMCA. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Guys, music can inspire us. Let the concert quality sound system at Zoom Indoor Cycling help push you harder than you ever thought possible. No matter if you're a beginner or an experienced rider, you'll ride top-of-the-line Stages SC3 bikes as the most talented instructors in North Alabama motivate you to reach your goals.
You can do it!
Zone Indoor Cycling is this week's Zone deal. Get a $100 certificate for just $50. Get yours Thursday morning at 977ESPN.com. $2 specialty shoe rental per ride for new riders.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. And it just happened a short time ago by a vote of 26-12. The Metro Nashville City Council approved the final reading to allow its sports authority to issue a $760 million worth of bonds. That'll combine with $550 million in state funds or state bonds for a total of $1.2 billion in public financing for the Tennessee Titans to get their enclosed stadium. That gives Tennessee the largest public price tag for a stadium that tops the $1.5 billion or it tops the $850 million commitment from New York for Buffalo's new $1.5 billion stadium. The stadium's total cost is estimated at $2.1 billion, and it should be done in time for the 2027 season.
And this is Nashville.
This is Nashville.
Yep. And so I saw this just a few minutes ago, and we'd been told this was going to happen, that they were trying to aggressively build the new Titan Stadium. And kudos to the city of Nashville. It continues to grow. And building this facility is certainly a huge step. We'll see if it also comes to fruition if they build a baseball stadium to attract a major league team. We will see.
Do you think this might end that, though?
It could. I mean, because the speculation at one time was that that's where Oakland would land, that they would leave. But now they look like they're going to be the Las Vegas A's or whatever the hell they changed their name to. You know, the Las Vegas Aces, something like that. I mean,
there you go.
There you go.
I still think we need to have the gamblers.
There'd be some folks just a little nervous about that, I think.
The Las Vegas gamblers?
Yeah, a little bit.
Why not?
Yeah.
Let's embrace it.
You would be. I mean, if you're doing that, you could have the late, great Kenny Rogers as maybe your mascot there.
So in this new deal, the Titans agreed to waive the $32 million owed by Nashville for money spent maintaining Nissan Stadium the past 4 years. The Titans will also pay off the remaining $30 million in bonds owed for the current stadium. And if you are going to travel to Nashville for a little while and stay overnight, because I know several people from this area do, a new 1% hotel motel tax on all of in-stadium sales tax and 50% of sales taxes from 130 acres around the stadium will pay off the bonds.
Well, so forward that to West since we're going to be there for SEC Media Days.
There's going to be a new 1% motel tax coming in.
There's a lot of highfalutin folks around there. I wonder how much it would cost to rent a house.
That's right. That's where SEC Media Days are going to be this next year. Oh, man. I forgot about that.
There you go. It's going to Nashville, man.
Man, we're going to have to step up our restaurant game a little bit. Man, I'm already thinking about that.
Foodie Scott, man. We're already Guy Fieriing here.
Yeah, there's going to be some Nashville hot chicken throwdowns.
Oh, I've got a story about that from Ryan Fowler from years ago.
Oh, boy.
Hattie B's hot chicken. It was good, but it was hot.
Yeah, that'll be coming up in July, though.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting because remember, Mike Detillier just said he believes LSU is the favorite in the West. I'm wondering
Matt
what the voters.
Does as well. You know, we need to catch up with Matt, but he believes it.
I'm wondering what the voters are really going to think. I mean, if Alabama stays with if Alabama stays with Jalen Milroe as quarterback, are they favorites to win the West?
No.
If Ty Simpson is the quarterback, are they favorites to win the West?
Yes.
If Tyler Buckner comes in, is Alabama a favorite to win the West?
To be determined. Never seen him practice.
All right. We got to get a break in. When we come back, Brian Matthews.
Got to have thoughts.
Got to have it. Brian Matthews will help us sort out Auburn spring game, Auburn basketball, Auburn baseball. Brian Matthews will join us next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky this afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the low and mid-60s. We're going to maintain the opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms through a good majority of the afternoon, even as we head into the evening. This pattern is going to continue across the Tennessee Valley as we head into your Thursday. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky, scattered showers and thunderstorms, though it is going to be a little bit warmer. Temperatures climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a wreck on Peachtree in the 800 block. That's off Holmes Avenue. That one does have an injury. 72 westbound on Chapman. They pulled it to the right side of the road. Parkway northbound near Drake should be just about ready to clear. Homer Nance and Sarah Lee should be just about out of the way. And they may still be working Old Big Cove near Peach Pond. That one had an overturned vehicle. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-306-8158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-306-8158. That's 800-306-8158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-306-8158. Again, 800-306-8158.
New name, new players, and an even better championship experience. This April, the Korn Ferry Tour returns to the Rocket City for the 2023 Hometown Lenders Championship at the Ledges. Experience the beauty and drama of the Ledges in person as golf's rising stars chase their PGA Tour dreams. From the first man on the green to the roar of the crowd when the final putt drops. Be part of every moment of the Hometown Lenders Championship at the Ledges from April 24th through April 30th. Tickets to be a part of the action are on sale now at HTLChamp.com.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. Wednesday morning, we've been talking a lot of good stuff. We've recapped everything. The one thing we didn't get to was SEC midweek baseball.
Right.
And it was a tough night for the Auburn Tigers last night. They dropped one to Troy. It was tough for the entire SEC as a whole. Because, Georgia lost, Kentucky lost. Mm-hmm. Auburn slipped, Texas A&M slipped, LSU slipped, Arkansas slipped. So all of those midweek losses,
you can't just assume you're going to win.
Yeah, the Auburn falls to Troy 8-7 last night.
Yeah, I mean there's some tough midweeks, and Troy's a good team. There's no doubt about it. They're good. They're a good program. And Auburn's had a tough year, but I thought they got a huge series win, though. That epic rally on Sunday against Mississippi State, what a tremendous ending. I watched the end of that game. They were down 7-0, come back to win it on a walk-off in Plainsman's Park, and we're going to talk to Brian Matthews about that and more since 2001, covering the Auburn Tigers, and, of course, long time now, auburnsports.com, part of the Rivals Network, and we're talking to Brian. What's up, Brian? How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. Good morning, guys.
And your thoughts? I mean, you cover this baseball program very closely. That we kind of talked about it last week on the show that series between Mississippi State and Auburn could be win or go home because it was just we've only got a few weeks left now, 4 weeks in the SEC regular season to end it before we go to Hoover, and you're trying to position yourself to get to Hoover. Auburn had lost the series to Alabama after taking game 1. They needed that series desperately, and they got it, and yet they turn around and they drop one to Troy. Where are we right now with the Auburn baseball program?
Well, I thought that series against State was must-win.
Yeah,
both
no
teams
doubt.
were headed toward the bottom of the SEC and really couldn't afford another series loss. And, that puts them at least in position to have an opportunity to finish in the top 12, to get to 13 to 14 wins, and secure a spot in the postseason. So that was big for Auburn. Last night, I was not at the game. I was in Atlanta covering Auburn Ambush, talking to Coach Freeze, Coach Pearl, and AD John Cohen.
Yeah.
But I did have a chance to listen to it and watch there at the end. And I just thought, Troy swung the bats pretty well and earned that win. Auburn's been thin on pitching all season. And, once you get into the back end of their bullpen, it's tough not to give up 7 or 8 runs.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Well, obviously the weekend toe for Auburn does not get any easier. It's South Carolina this weekend, correct?
Yeah.
On the road?
Yeah,
best team in the SEC.
And then number 1 LSU coming to town the following week. They had to beat Mississippi State, right? And hope they can come out with a win or two over the next, or maybe come up with a crazy series win or something. But at least not get swept the next 2 weeks would be big for this team.
Yeah, no question. I mean, it was kind of the inverse what happened against Troy. This time they were up 6-1 and they couldn't hold it. But as you said, a couple of huge opportunities on the road at arguably the best team in the SEC, South Carolina. But there's so many good teams, and then LSU coming to town the next week. So it'll be a big couple of weeks for Butch Thompson. But as you said, you were at the Ambush event in Atlanta. You had a chance to hear from 3 prominent members, of course, Hugh Freeze, Bruce Pearl, and John Cohen. We'll start with John Cohen. Settling in as Auburn Athletic Director, what did you glean from Coach?
Well, I wouldn't say there was a whole lot of breaking news type stuff. Did ask him about the SEC meetings coming up and, the possibility of the 9-game schedule and the permanent opponents, and he didn't really want to go into details there. It sounds like to me that they've got a pretty good idea of what's going to happen, but they're going to, let it happen at in Destin. So we'll see how that goes. I feel like it's going to be a 9-game schedule, and some people will be happy with their 3 permanent opponents, and some teams won't. But that's just the way it is, right?
Right. Yeah.
There's no perfect way to do that. I'm trying to think what else. And then he talked about settling at Auburn too, and he said how much how happy he is here, how it's been everything he thought it would be and more. And just talked a little bit about walking his dogs on campus every morning and just how happy everybody seems to be. So, it was a good talk with him. I would say you freeze. Bruce Pearl talked about Alan Flanagan most likely graduating here in the next couple of weeks. And he didn't say it, but I took that. He said then he'll weigh his options. But I sort of took the whole thing and have assumed, for the past month or so that he was probably going to move on. As, and it makes sense for him to leave as a graduate transfer. So I think that's just something to keep an eye on there. Possibly to Ole Miss to follow his father. We'll see. And then he talked about adding, 1 or 2 more players in the portal, if they could. Address the 2 guys they've already signed. Really pleased with them and the versatility they bring, and just the talent they've added to the roster. Was pleased with that. And Hugh Freeze talked a little bit about the portal being slow to start out with as far as players getting in the spring, and that's something I'm going to write about for this morning. Did mention that they're continuing to monitor it every day and, are still looking to upgrade that roster, and they have offered some kids and brought in some for visits. So we'll see how things sort of wind up for them over the coming weeks.
You mentioned Bruce Pearl and the addition of 2 guys through the portal. One of those we had in here yesterday, and that would be Chaney Johnson. We talked to him yesterday. What did Bruce say last night about Chaney?
Yep.
Well, I haven't had a chance to talk to Chaney, but I'm excited too because I'm excited
You'll
about
like
the
him.
story.
Yeah, great guy.
Talked about him going to UAH at 6'2".
Oh yeah, he did.
And suddenly growing 5 inches and becoming a 6'7", and then making himself into a star. And feels like Chaney can come to Auburn and play some 3, can play some 4, be versatile there, and just excited about adding him to the program. And I mean, I'm excited about what he can bring on and off the court too. He sounds like a really terrific young man.
Yeah, and then Denver Jones. I know they want his perimeter shooting, correct?
Yeah, he's a 6'4" guard. Auburn was really taking advantage of on the perimeter this past season with their lack of length and their lack of defense and their lack of three-point shooting, and Denver brings all that. So he was the perfect fit for this program, and I expect him to step in right away as a starter.
And we know Chaney can. You just explained that Bruce thinks he can play the 3 and the 4. Chaney was telling us that as well. He played pickup, seemed to fit in really well. But we've also heard Desmond Cambridge could be a graduate transfer and come back after going to Arizona State for a year. He's a versatile piece like a Chaney Johnson. Is Desmond? Is that still on the table?
Yeah, not sure that is anymore.
Gotcha. With Chaney
maybe
coming on,
other directions now.
Mm-hmm.
They are bringing in Matthew Cleveland.
Ah, yes, Florida State, right?
3-4,
mm-hmm.
right? Along with Missouri, Miami. He's coming in. I think he came in last night or yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in for official. Jalen Tyson, the Texas Tech transfer, is also a guy that Auburn likes a lot. And I don't know that he's scheduled a visit yet, but I would expect Auburn's potentially bring him in this weekend, depending how things go with Cleveland.
Very interesting.
Well, the transfer portal does close for college football this weekend. Do we still think, Hugh Freeze, obviously he talked some about the portal, I had imagined last night, and just where Auburn possibly wants to go. Did he say, am I correct in saying that he didn't think it was as active as what he thought it was going to be?
Yeah, to start out with,
as
far as players getting in. He did say he felt like it had picked up the last couple of days, and I certainly agree with him. And then he did drop there at the very end about, there's always the opportunity for a graduate transfer to hop in at any time. They're not, on that, 2-week window to get into the transfer portal. And to me, I think that's where Auburn's going to end up going as far as the quarterback situation. My best guess is a graduate transfer.
That's what I would think.
Exactly that will be, we'll see. But it just seems to me they may have their eye on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that's a real possibility there. And, let's see, they brought in Jaden Muskrat, the offensive lineman, for a visit. They brought in Jaheim Thomas, a linebacker from Cincinnati, for a visit. Jordan Hudson, the wide receiver from TCU, I think maybe coming in this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And they just offered the wide receiver from Colorado.
Yeah, they had the big spring game. Yep.
Lamonius Craig, I think is his name.
That's right.
I'm not mistaken. And they offered that edge kid from James Madison, Isaac Ukwu. I'm not sure how you say that last name. But so they're still pretty active there. And, Sunday is the last day players can get in, but they can continue to get out of the portal, in the coming weeks ahead, too.
Well, and my whole thought is this. I know it didn't work out the first time when Grayson McCall went into the portal, Brian, but he went back to school. But if he graduates, I could see him, that may be where Auburn going. I know they really had a lot of mutual interest, it seemed, between both parties.
Yes, I think that's absolutely right, and I think he is a quarterback that would fit very well into what Hugh Freeze does, right? He would step right in and really be ahead of the other guys because of the offense he's played in the Coastal and be a really good fit here. So that would be exactly what they were looking for.
No question about it. And then going forward, we have to mention it. You got to give Auburn softball a lot of credit. They go to Tuscaloosa, and I know they hadn't played because of COVID and all this other stuff since 2017 on campus, but a huge win for Mickey Dean's program, getting 2 out of 3 from Alabama and staying near the top of the SEC softball standings, and for a chance to potentially host a regional.
Yeah, I mean, they've sort of come out of nowhere.
They've gotten hot, yeah.
Yeah, they have. They really have, and I don't think Alabama's an easy place to win, especially for Auburn, right? And, to beat Montana Falconer, the best pitcher in the country, on a Sunday. That was a great matchup between her and Maddie Pinto there. Was really big for this Auburn softball program, and they are in position now to finish in the top 3 or 4. They finish up, I believe it's at South Carolina, and then they host Mississippi State at home. And I know State's last in the SEC. I think South Carolina's 3rd or 4th from last. So those are 2 series that you would think they could win. But, I will say that Auburn's not at the level where they can just show up and beat teams in the SEC. They've got to go out and play hard. So I think this is another test for them to be sort of a favorite now, right? To be able to deal with, some good things happening in the program for the first time really in 6 years. Because if they do finish strong, they can host a regional for the first time since 2017, get that, 2-round bye for the first time since 2017 SEC tournament. So there's a lot, sort of riding on the next couple of weeks for them.
No question. Well, great stuff. Auburn Athletics with Brian Matthews does a great job for Rivals.com. Let everybody know how to connect with you and you guys' coverage, because you got baseball, you got softball, you got Hugh Freeze in the transfer portal, Bruce Pearl in the portal, and hoops. A lot going on.
Yeah, there is a lot. We're continuing to monitor the portal, keep up with baseball, softball, everything else happening in Auburn right now, and recruiting, of course.
Yes.
All that and more at auburnsports.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at BMattAU.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, guys.
Brian Matthews with us. Let's get that final break in. Tomorrow's headlines today when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Looks like we're going to wind it up this morning in pretty good shape. Our last reported accident was in the 800 block of Peachtree off Holmes. That one did report with an injury. Had one on 72 westbound coming across Chapman. They pulled it to the side of the road, and sounds like the Parkway northbound through the Drake area is moving okay now. Snelling needs an appointment setter. It's a very stable company in northeast Huntsville. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a 5th-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out, or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. If you've been considering owning a new Mustang, Explorer, Expedition, Edge, Escape, or Bronco Sport, we have 0% financing for 60 months on 22 models of those vehicles. This won't last long because as we sell off our 2022s, 0 for 60 goes with it. When they're gone, they're gone. Let me repeat, Woody Anderson Ford has 22 models of Bronco Sport, Explorer, Escape, Edge, Expedition, and Mustang with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months. But when they're gone, it's gone. And of course, it's with your good credit through Ford Motor Credit. This offer ends April 29th. Woody Anderson Ford can also help you trade in and trade up on a Ford Blue Advantage Gold Certified or Blue Certified pre-owned vehicle. Great warranties, 24-hour roadside assistance, and a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Don't forget 0 for 60 on select 22 models while they last. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that, chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at BadDaddy'sBurgerBar.com.
Sports Talk 24/7 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Could you listen to a baseball game if it was called like this?
Hello, friends. A beautiful Saturday afternoon in Comstock Park. This is inning number 7. Still in the front 9, if you will. Eric Pinales hails from San Cristobal.
Dan Hasty.
It's about 30 kilometers from Santo Domingo.
Announced this at-bat as if he was in the Masters the other day
right now,
for the West Michigan
from about 60
Whitecaps.
feet 6 inches.
Do you think Jeff from the Pearl, is this too much excitement for him?
I'm about to go to sleep. I don't know.
No, that's how he decided to call the bat the other day over radio and everything for the West Michigan Whitecaps, minor league baseball.
Hello, friends. Hey, by the way, we know Scott is the foodie of this group, right? Well, I just got a story up on my phone, and I'm sure Scott already knows that this place is opening.
Is that the Maple Place?
There it is, Maple. I knew it. I knew he'd get it. I didn't even have, this is like Match Game or whatever the hell you want to call it. The Maple Street Biscuit Company. He already knew in Madison that it's opening.
You didn't even have to say what kind of food they were serving.
I said, and then he got it. He already probably knows the menu.
Don't know the menu.
You don't?
No,
not yet.
No, not yet.
It's in Madison, right?
It is in Madison.
Okay.
It is in Madison, yes.
It looked intriguing.
It just opened, I believe, yesterday, I believe, was the grand opening.
Was it? Well, I mean, I like biscuits. I thought it looked intriguing. You know?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
It'll probably be slammed.
Yes, they've got all kinds of good things.
Yeah.
Yes. I have not gone to the Biscuit Belly yet either.
Now, where's that one?
That one's in Jones Valley.
There's something called the Biscuit Belly.
Yes, you need to check that one out. My wife has been telling me that we need to go there, and I just looked, and it closes today at 2.
At 2 o'clock?
At
so
2
it's
o'clock.
Just breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast
brunch.
and lunch. Yeah, and so I have time today.
Yeah.
So you know what? After 12:30, I may go to the Biscuit Belly.
The Biscuit Belly.
The Biscuit Belly, yes.
Okay.
So, anyway, tell the truth, Dave. I mean, we don't care if you advertise or not. Hell, we just mention places.
They just
mention places.
Hell, we'll probably ask.
Gotta figure. Anyway, hey, what is the best cure for being hungry? You go to somewhere you like, right?
Yeah, right.
What is the best cure to stop a 4-game slide? Apparently, for the Atlanta Braves, it's
Play
playing
the
Miami Marlins because you lost 4 in a row, and then now all of a sudden you've won 2 in a row. You get a win last night, 7-4. Both teams 10 hits, Braves 7 runs, Marlins 4 runs. The good news is your Mutts lost. They lost to the Nationals. Mm-hmm. I believe they have lost 2 in a row. I believe has New York. Atlanta and New York, the only 2 teams above 500 in the NL East. No, my bad. The Marlins are 12-12. The Mets are 14-10. Braves are 16-8. So the Braves have a 2-game lead over the Mets, 4-game lead over the Marlins, and the Braves are the Phillies are 2 games below 500. The Nationals have been eliminated from playoff contention. They are just 8-14. It's early, but that's just something to throw that in there. Anyway, so the Braves get a win last night. They'll be taking on the Marlins again today. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, your home for the Braves baseball. Make sure you download that. Make sure you download it so you can also have the first round of the NFL draft tomorrow night as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Looking forward to that.
Yep. I'm going to throw this out there because I can. The Hawks get the win over the Celtics last night. That series 3-2 for Boston. Nuggets win a series 4-1 over the Timberwolves, and the Suns win a series over the Clippers 4-1, 136-130. So there you go. There's your NBA news and notes. So I brought that up only because you know what? You know what that Hawks win did?
What?
Janet Jackson was supposed to have a concert Thursday.
You went to it the other day,
yeah, in Atlanta. And because the Hawks win, that concert has to get moved to Friday so the Hawks can play the Celtics and be eliminated.
Interesting.
I thought I'd throw that NBA nugget in there for you because you are all about.
Didn't even know the series count on
the National Basketball Association.
Right.
So now you can't say you didn't know what the series was because I told you.
Yeah,
Anyway, we've had a great 2 hours. We're going to do it again tomorrow. I can't promise it'll be just as fun, but we'll try.
We'll probably have pictures from the Biscuit Belly.
If I can get there.
Yeah.
This is an Alabama legacy moment.
Born in Fairfield, Alabama, Willie Mays is one of the greatest baseball players to ever play the game. In 22 Major League seasons, mostly with the New York and later San Francisco Giants, Mays had a 302 lifetime batting average and amassed 3,283 hits, 660 home runs, and an untouchable total of 7,095 career putouts from the outfield. Mays was the National League Rookie of the Year in 1951 and played a significant role in the New York Giants World Series victory in 1954. The most memorable moment in Mays' career occurred in the first game of that series when he made a running, over-the-shoulder catch at the warning track, popularly known as the Catch. Mays earned 2 MVP awards, was awarded 12 Gold Gloves, made 24 All-Star Game appearances, and was a first-ballot Hall of Fame inductee in 1979. In 2015, President Barack Obama awarded Mays a Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Sponsored by the Alabama Bicentennial Commission, the ABA, and this station.